why the fuck should they buy mine?
We're going to start. I'm not going to lose anything.
You know?
This is all good stuff.
Okay. Right.
All right. We're back. We're back. We're started over. This is episode 101.
Official 101.
101 with Matt
Episode
Booth.
101 with
Matt
Booth.
Matt Booth.
This might work out well because you could have that baby his wife's also pregnant.
Well, yeah, no, but how far along?
Super pregnant.
Oh, she's like
Nice,
doing anything.
man.
Like today could be the day.
Is this your first?
No, it's my third.
Amazing, man.
But it's a girl. First
Third and
girl.
final.
Very happy for you, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm really excited. I can't wait.
It's the best thing of all time.
So the topic of discussion before I was heading into work was, what time are you recording the podcast? And I said noon. We'll be recording around noon. She says, okay. So, I mean,
Hey, man.
She's sitting there with her
I'll
leg
drive you there,
crossed.
man.
today could be the day.
Yeah.
12/12.
Oh, yeah. You go to the hospital. Matt Booth walks in with you.
Hey,
Hey.
fucking Snapchat it on. I'm here. Yeah, that'd be pretty epic. So yeah, no, you're right though. But like this podcast is definitely different, right? We don't, and it's not bashing the other ones, but like I don't want to talk about the same shit. I don't want to talk about the cigar. I don't want to talk about the origin of you getting into the business. I want to talk about the good stuff. Like stuff that's off the cuff that kind of makes you who you are. So that's what makes it fun.
And look, for me, it's invaluable to have a platform where people can get to know, maybe have a better understanding of who I am.
Right.
Because this will ultimately endear them to my products.
Yeah.
Why buy stuff from a dick?
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
right?
true.
I mean,
And you know what?
Right.
And you know what? Like I've had that argument with consumers inside the store. I'm like, the shit that this company has done to some of their people after years of dedication, and hard work, and you're still going to go buy that cigar? Like I'll do my best to talk them off it. I'm like, you know what? This $12 cigar is a waste of fucking time. Try this $6 one.
right.
Even obviously that's not to my financial benefit, but I feel
Right.
morally sound about it. So.
Yeah. Well, and look, and I mean, we're beyond spoiled with the selection of phenomenal cigars, right? I mean, really, genuinely. I mean, when I started in this game, I thought at that point it was really the best time to be a cigar smoker
Right.
in the U.S. because of all the stuff coming out of Nicaragua, all the the beginnings, the more progressive blend styles and whatnot that were non-traditional in terms of their personality and all that, and that's just grown 100-fold since then, man.
Right. The one part that I can argue with that is that a lot of, maybe not a lot, but there are some brands that make a cigar, and like I at least have the ability to break it down and say it's overpriced. Here's why, and I break the whole thing down. Are some of the tobaccos in the cigar good? Could it have been a hell of a lot better? Yes. Why are you paying $12, $13, $14, $15 for the cigar? I have no fucking idea. Like it doesn't make sense. So I mean, that's more Patreon stuff. Like we do like our own subscriber thing to kind of get into the nitty gritty of specific cigars.
Right.
But yeah, you are right. There's definitely a lot of good tobacco out there, and there's definitely a lot of good cigars.
And look, man, in this business, it's a very beautiful thing. One of the things that was very initially endearing to me about this business was, I thought, okay, so in men's jewelry as an example, you have the Yermans and the Hardys that are in a completely different galaxy of size, scale, performance, capability, and then you have this huge no man's land until you get back down to like even the second tier of operators in terms of branded offerings, right? In this business, you could literally, if you had the drive and determination, you could create a very respectable product, and you could walk in old school style, right, with a handshake, and your product could go on a shelf next to a legacy brand.
A legacy brand.
You could literally put your product that you've developed with your heart and soul and commitment, right, on the shelf right next to a product that's a brand that's been active for over 100 years.
Right.
And that opportunity really just genuinely does not exist in a great deal of industries.
Right.
I mean, you're not going to start making tires and topple the Firestone empire tomorrow. You're not even going to have your shit on the shelf next.
I mean, we could give it a good run.
Down with Firestone. Coming for you. It's the next mission.
Down with Goodwill.
Yeah,
or,
but
or whatever the hell the tire's name.
Well, they have the blimp though, bro. The Goodyear blimp.
Oh, the Goodyear. That's it.
I mean, Ice Cube gave it a shout out. I mean, it was always parked. It's parked in Carson now, but it's always, you can see it from the freeway. It's a delightful vessel.
It's nice.
It's nice.
Yeah,
it's nice.
It's a landmark.
Yeah, it's a thing.
It's kind of
It's a thing.
Makes them a legacy tire.
a legacy tire.
Legacy tire brand.
Huh. So you worked at Whiskey a Go-Go on the Sunset Strip?
I did. I did a great deal of things. When I got out of the service, I thought, okay, I'm going to drive around the country and get into adventures. And through a staff sergeant that actually very much looked out for me and a lot of guys
Who
that
would have
were in
had your
there.
wallet and gotten you safely home.
Staff Sergeant Bibbs would have 100% gotten me home.
Right.
For sure.
And if you fought him, he would have made sure that you were unconscious.
Yes,
I
he
don't know
would've.
what happened to you, but you passed out.
I would have been immobilized. Yeah, which I probably needed to be immobilized that evening. So, he had gotten a job with an executive protection firm there in L.A., and I kind of followed him out there. Interviewed with that company. I worked for I interned at a couple record labels. I worked part time at an instrument company, a guitar company, and at the Whiskey a Go-Go. I actually learned the beginnings of live sound engineering from my dear friend Leonard, who has worked for any act you could ever imagine.
Yeah.
On the road as a front of house guy, and I did sound and lighting for shows there for off and on for about 2 years while I was
shit.
doing all this other shit. Yeah.
That's pretty
Yeah.
badass.
It was wild, man. It was super cool because, one of the older cats that worked there, I mean, he had worked there since the 80s, off and on. So, you're learning and working next to a guy that lived through the Sunset Strip in the 80s.
No
in
shit.
the club, in the club scenes. Like, they would talk about, excuse me. They would talk about, not being, going from the Whiskey up to the Roxy and having to schedule 45 minutes to walk because they were going to be stopped 100 times.
Right.
By the time they got there to mix the next show. And yeah, just very, very different animal now.
No shit. So you're from LA originally?
Originally, yeah, from the South Bay. And, I've bounced back and forth. My mom early on moved up to Washington State. So
Ooh.
between LA and Washington, growing up, my dad remained in Southern California.
Washington sucks for cigars.
Is very much is suck. Yeah, one of the most stringent, clean air acts, smoking ban, whatever you want to
Yeah,
call it, in
smoke
the
as much weed
fucking
as you
country.
want.
Oh yeah, just
Yeah.
blaze.
But
Blaze.
cigar. Oh.
Don't you dare ever in your life smoke a cigar.
Right.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's just leaves, but
But in the spirit of our community and the entrepreneurial spirit and all that other stuff, there are guys that are taking strides to change that in their
Yeah.
own little environments.
yeah, there's a
which is
couple good
super cool.
spots in there.
But I mean, it's crazy what they have to go through to do it.
Right.
Really, man. I mean, you'd think it's like alcohol during Prohibition.
Right.
Room 101
Severely
gin.
overregulated. So, well, this sucks. You started your brand in 2003, right? But that's
That's correct.
Yeah, that was just jewelry though. It wasn't cigars.
Yeah. I started working in a factory downtown in early 2000, and 3 years later, I decided to give the collection a name.
Mm-hmm.
And then around 2006, I began to actually try to sell that product. Actually, that's kind of an intro. Do you want to hear that? Do you want
Yeah,
to hear a
sure.
story?
Do it.
So you're reminding me of things, right?
Yeah.
So
It's the tequila.
it is. It's Clooney's elixir.
It's taking me back.
So in downtown LA, our factory is at the corner of 7th and Broadway, and that's in the jewelry district. A couple blocks away from there, 9th and Los Angeles is kind of the fashion district, where they have a couple buildings that house all the showrooms, right? And so a lot of them are branded for individual companies, and some of them. Similar to like an independent broker, die in this business.
Right.
We can talk about that later. I will address that in a moment. Please write that
Yeah,
down.
Write that down.
Write that down.
They house some showrooms where they're multi-brand, and these guys are brokering sales for multiple brands, multiple categories, right? And I took a little bulletproof briefcase with some of my initial samples. I walked my happy ass over there, and those samples were like, I mean, they're nothing like we make now, right?
Right.
It was the beginnings of what I was doing.
It's like
I was-
episode 1 of this podcast. Atrocious.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
terrible.
But still-
It's terrible.
Oh, I thought you meant 100. We're just now redeeming ourselves.
No.
You didn't do good out of the gate, man. I feel like you're very charismatic,
dude.
man.
We had like this little snowball fucking mic. I mean, we had no equipment.
like
and
a Bob Barker microphone. Like
yeah,
that little.
it was
Not even
like
that
this,
good.
it was like
That's
this
cool,
dome that we all had to kind of talk.
were-
Oh,
Go
okay.
back and listen if you want. You know,
had to,
like, oh
you
man,
had
this
to lean
is,
in if you wanted to talk.
oh, this was so bad. But yeah, no. I mean, yeah, I enjoy it. Like I was definitely, but I was still trying to find my footing, just like I'm sure you were doing in the jewelry business.
Well,
you
of
know?
course. And look, in any industry I've ever operated in, I have no family. I have no leg
Right.
up. My uncle wasn't some famous designer or cigar maker or
Right.
and I'm not throwing shade at anyone that had that
Right.
opportunity, because if you have that opportunity and you run with it, more power to you
Right.
all day. But to fight your way in
Yeah.
to any industry,
It's tough.
It's challenging, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay, these are the buildings that house these people that could potentially help me sell this product.
Right.
So I'm just going to walk through these buildings from door to door, and I'm going to see if there's anyone that can fucking help me or is
Right.
interested in what I'm doing, right? And I walked through 2 of those buildings, and I got up to the very top floor of the second building, and at the LA Mart there. Was it the LA Mart? No, it was the one across the street from the LA Mart, which I forget the name at this time. But 9th and LA, corner of 9th and LA, right? And I ran into this lady named Jackie B.
Mm-hmm.
Oddly hot, by the way. If you're listening,
Older
Jackie
lady,
B,
or-
I remember. No, I mean, no. She was actually, quite frankly, she was probably younger than I am now at the time, right?
Right.
Just oozing in sex, really. She was, and it was very obscure. But and she told me very frankly, that she couldn't help me, right?
Right.
But she said, let me refer you. She said, you have to go across the way to the Gary Building, which I had no intention of even visiting, right? And you have to find these guys at a showroom called Select Showroom. And she said, they're younger, they're driving like progressive brands out of that house, and I think they'd really dig what you're doing. And so, of course, I took Jackie B's advice, and I walked across the Gary Building, and I met these 2 cats that had Select Showroom, Joey and Matt. And they literally, I mean, they relaunched Lee Denim.
Shit.
Do you remember the brand Salvage?
No.
So this is like when the mineral wash distressed, the shirts sewn together in 3 different ways,
Right.
Shot with a bazooka.
Uh-huh.
This is when this style was just about to emerge, and the brand that really developed that style was called Salvage, and they made really, really cool shit. And I mean, I was at the project trade show with them where Nordstrom brought Salvage in. It was this huge deal
No shit.
because that solidified that this was now going to be a trend,
Right.
And then there were many brands in the Ed Hardy era of the cigar business that followed them. Affliction was one of them that,
Right.
that very quickly began to mimic that style, and they actually they stayed the course, right, with that brand, and I think evolved it. I'm not sure what they're doing now, but I did several rotations through the fashion shows with them and placed our product some of the high-end specialty fashion stores around the country. And was beginning to get some genuine traction with it, as fashion accessory,
Right.
which previously was more almost underground subculture
Right.
in nature. Very, very similar to what is popping in the boutique game in this business.
Right.
There's a cult, a very small amount of these eclectic designers in LA, and they all have a following, and but they were not necessarily selling as fashion accessory
Right.
in stores yet. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
do you have your first piece you ever made?
I do.
You do?
I do. I have it in a little plastic drawer in my office.
No
yes.
shit.
Yeah.
So you never wanted to sell that one, or did you sell it and you got it back?
No, I never sold that one.
You never had
There's
that?
like a little band that I put a little skull head on.
You gotta
it was
put,
cool.
you gotta like display it or something.
Yeah, I should.
Fucking plastic
I should.
bag.
Yeah, I should.
Come
I
on,
should.
man.
I should, man.
That's a big deal.
So, yeah, so we placed in some respectable doors, and we were gaining some traction, and then the economy tanked, and all of my accounts went out of business.
Yeah,
It was
that
great.
whole thing about loaning to people who couldn't pay their bills.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was literally like dead stop.
It's like,
Dead stop.
we're not selling anything.
Yeah. Well, most of them closed their doors, didn't pay their bills. The one
Right.
account that we still do business with to this day is Elton's in Las Vegas, family owned.
No shit.
Super solid family.
They hung in
and
there.
They were actually my first account,
No shit.
and they weathered that fucking storm, and I weathered it right there with them, and they behaved in the truest spirit of partnership based on the circumstances, and we fought our way through that.
Do you stop in and see them at IBCPR?
Every time.
Yeah.
Every time I go to Vegas.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, man. They're amazing people.
You're up for some awards here from the tobacco business, huh?
Oh dear.
Boutique Cigar of the Year and Entrepreneur of the Year.
Rumor has it there have been nominations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Please go on and vote
Wow. Look at that. That's
for
impressive.
the love of God.
We're not on either one of those, are we?
No, we're not.
Yeah, man, it's interesting, man, and in addition
don't
to
like
that, for example, if you want to talk about things that are, well, okay, so to dovetail into what I'm about to say,
Okay.
that whole thing with Jackie B and meeting those guys,
Right.
It's just not stopping. It's
Right.
investing yourself, and it's also kicking down that first domino and allowing the energy of the universe
Right.
to lead you. You know,
Yeah.
and that's a very real thing, whether you want to call it the law of attraction or just
Persistence.
ramming your face into a brick wall until it gives away.
Right.
You know.
Oh shit. Right.
Yeah, I've actually broken the brick.
Usually at the last second when you're
Yeah.
about to give up. You're
Yeah,
like,
man.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time, right? So,
Dovetailing.
oh my God. So it's interesting now.
I got you.
Thank you, thank you so much.
Bring
man.
it back. Bring it back.
To have persevered through everything that we have, that I have in this business.
Right.
Because I've genuine and look, I'm not trying to cry or play the world's smallest violin here for you, but like I've
Right.
fought through a tremendous amount of things to be even sitting here today and continuing to be somehow relevant or viable and have a viable brand. God, I hope you be the judge. Wait, we don't fact check?
Yeah, no.
We have a viable brand.
It's
We have
number
a
one.
viable
Number one.
brand. So no, but to my first solo branded project, Forest, right? The Habano received the highest rating that I've received on any product in 10 years in the business.
Right.
And not that I'm going to hang my hat, nor do I wear hats, but if I did, I wouldn't
Yeah.
hang it on the fact that I got a rating.
You'd have to put it above the hair.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to cover that wonderful
Challenger.
hair.
Like Kid from Kid and Play, like
Exactly.
an elevated hat.
Yeah.
So, such a marvelous high top that had, really.
Remarkable.
Yeah,
Where
I
is
mean,
he
crazy,
now?
right? He's around, man.
Yeah?
He's around. Yeah, he's around.
Same hair?
No.
Yeah.
I think he's like bald now. Like he shaves it, which is it's like the inversion, right? It's the complete
Yeah, the
inversion.
exact opposite of.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if it starts to fade, you got to
Right.
when
when the fade fades,
When the fade fades,
you got to fade it with it.
Right. You got to just own the baldness.
Yeah.
You know?
So, but to kind of have that cosmic validation of, okay, maybe I am on the right path here,
Right.
and then to, receive the attention of Tobacco Business with those nominations and look, man, I mean, we got a 94 on that cigar. It's not unthinkable that we could potentially be considered for their year-end list, which
Right.
we have also never placed on in 10 years.
Right.
So if my first product out of the gate gets that kind of attention,
Hey, you're doing all right.
I believe I'm on the right path.
Fucking A.
Yeah.
So talk about independent broker die.
Die. I actually, by the time I return home, I will have a custom T-shirt that I had made for myself
Yes.
landed at my doorstep, and it says "Kill Your Broker"
Kill your
in
broker.
caps. I'm gonna wear that shit to trade shows, stare you dead in your
Really?
eye.
Really?
Look, here's the deal, and it's a somewhat of a violent joke,
Yeah.
but it's a joke. But there's a lot of fuel behind that I think a great deal of brand owners would very much appreciate that T-shirt. I might actually make more off those T-shirts at
Yeah.
the show than I do off my cigars.
Okay.
Based on what's going on in the business right now, and it's just this is what we were talking about earlier. The landscape being, and
Evolving.
it's changing underneath our feet as we speak.
Correct.
And although, like I said, I'm junior to many in this business, I have been in the game going on 11 years.
Right.
And I have never seen it more hostile in
Really?
market. Yeah. I've never seen it more hostile. The attitudes are changing. I think, and I think there are a myriad of components that are all contributing to that simultaneously. But it's painting a very strange picture,
Right.
And it is. Literally, it's hostile. I feel like I'm in a scene from 300. Like I'm gladiatoring my way through
So when you say kill your broker, you're like, don't deal with brokers?
No, man, I just think that where do I start with this one?
Yeah.
Back in the day when I began,
Mm-hmm.
there was this unstoppable, undeniable force of the broker network. And
Right.
these guys were assassins. They were operators. They were out there killing.
Right.
They were killing, eating people's lunch, market share.
And some of them were like a tight group colony type fucking.
You don't say.
Right.
You don't say.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah. Maybe a little agreement between you guys. We are going to maybe not sell this brand.
Right.
You know, that kind of thing.
That's definitely happened.
And it continues to happen, you know.
Right.
And I think a great deal of the new school of brokers are trying to take on they're trying to take pages out of the old school's book.
Right.
But the difference is that they're not selling.
Right.
So it's like they had to sell the product to have the power to pull some of this leverage type bullshit.
Right.
It's just kind of a tragic situation. I think at the time, and this isn't really just reserved for brokers. I think that
Right.
the art of the sell is really kind of evaporating, and
Yeah.
when you're not just going in and getting fed orders, you know, who's got the stuff?
Right.
Who can really make that happen? And in like I said, in my opinion, the most hostile I've seen the market in 10 years. You have an increasingly apathetic attitude towards salesmanship in general, and I think it's a toxic combination for brands, you
Right.
know. And you know, what is the solution?
Yeah.
What's the solution when? Is this good to be talking about?
Yeah.
Is this
Oh,
positive?
sure.
Fuck yeah.
So what is the solution when your independent sales broker understands the metric that you have to get to in terms of sales versus profitability to be able to hire in his territory, and so
Right.
he's literally going to suffocate your sales so that he keeps you at a level where he keeps as much commission as he can get, in theory, if you were selling. As come at me, please. Anyone, please. So, you know, and they're literally suffocating your sales.
Right.
And this is happening, you know, to all brands, you know.
Right.
You know, and it's actually sad, man. Because for me, if somebody's in it with me, I'm in it with them till the
Right.
fucking wheels fall off.
Of course.
You know, I'm loyal. I'm loyal to a fault.
Right.
And if we build this together, there is nowhere that I'm fucking going because
Right.
you're a partner. But
Now, but-
it's like you're sleeping with the enemy.
But like 80% of, maybe 80% is kind of generous, but a lot of experiences that some of these brokers have had where they built up brands.
Well, and how can
They-
they trust?
they've
Trust
been
is damaged.
fucked,
I
right?
respect that, and I understand that.
It's the thing where
Yeah.
you have two choices. Either you're not selling it and it's your fault, or you sell too much of it and then they bring somebody in the house.
Right. Oh, hey, Mike.
Hi.
But look, man.
Welcome to the episode.
I'm worried that the show's going to just die. So
But
I'm making sure everything keeps rolling.
Good.
But my word is my bond. If I say I'm with you, I'm with you. And look, man, if you know, but other people have given verbal, you know,
I
and
got
then
you,
their
bro, I
behavior.
got you.
Yeah, I'll put that shit on paper.
Right.
I don't care. I'll commit to you, man. But you must commit to me.
Right.
And that's the problem. Is there's
Yeah.
no reach around.
There's no the lack of the reach around.
It's really unsavory.
They're faking it. They're
It's
faking the
unsavory.
reach around.
Right. It's like, hey, I'm gonna do it, and then it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, man. So it's a very, very challenging time, you know. And you know, I've had cats, you know, take a lot of credit for building brands,
Right.
but it's really incorrect. You know, if you are an up and coming order taker and you have a brand that's about to explode in popularity put in your lap,
You didn't do anything.
they made you.
Right.
They literally made you.
Well, the brand makes or breaks the brand in itself, anyways.
Yeah.
Right.
If you're offering what everyone is lined up to give you money for,
Right.
what, are you selling or are you taking orders? The proof is in the pudding when you have to work and you have to sell.
Right.
You know, they're all dried up leaves in the shape of dicks.
Right.
Sell the dicks.
Sell the dicks.
They're cigars, man. It's really not that hard,
Right.
but it's hard enough that it's hard enough to, you know, people take the path of least resistance.
That's true.
It's an unhealthy thing, and it's really kind of coming to a head out there, I think.
So you think attaching with La Polina was the right sales force to bring yourself into?
Yeah, I mean, I selectively absorbed certain employees in specific territories,
Okay.
and
You got to pick.
and I'll be hiring in other territories as we grow. There are a couple independent brokers that I work with that I think are studs.
Right.
That we will more than likely continue to work with.
As long as they have a contract.
Yeah, no, we're gonna, you know, it's all gonna be on wax, man, and
Right.
there will be commitments on both sides of that, and you know, performance. You know, look, my philosophy is more business with less people.
Right.
I want to invest.
agree with that.
I want to invest with people that are going to invest in me.
Right.
I want to work with partners that I know as soon as I walk out of their store after an event, my investment, that momentum is carried over and reinforced after I leave versus being the quick hit on the P&L for Friday.
Right.
You know.
Right. Just rotate it out.
The solid
Yeah.
Friday event, right?
Yeah, and similarly, I want to, and I want to, like I said, I want to reciprocate that. So
Right.
it's not a one-way street, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's it.
So if a store does like $20,000 a month, or let's say $30,000 a month, you want, try to get 10% of that or something like that.
I'll live in their bathroom.
I'll live in their bathroom.
I'll live in their
There
bathroom.
you go.
Yeah.
You want to go see Matt? He's in the back.
Yeah, he's in the Ken. Sponsored Ken. It's the Room 101 Ken.
The Room 101 bathroom.
With him in it.
You know what's
just
fun?
just he'll scoot over. You just handle your business, and
He'll hand you a
He'll
towel.
hand you
Yeah.
a towel, little spritz of cologne.
I will be the towel guy. Yeah,
Where's Matt? He's in the back.
yeah.
Tip him before you leave.
Go say hi. Go take a shit and say hi. Yeah, there's no stalls. It's fine.
Just chat him up while you're gone.
Back in the day, if he was really shit faced, he'd just stare at you like this.
And look, man, it's not all doom and gloom, and I'm not
No,
shitting
of
on
course
everyone.
not.
There
No.
are guys that are out there really giving valid contribution to brands' growth and the community in general,
Of course,
and business, right?
No,
But
going in and checking on shops is definitely a thing, and
It's
does-
old school, man.
Right? It does work to some degree, but having the direct to consumer relationship and people believing in your brand is really the bigger aspect of that,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if guys believe in Matt, right? They can just walk in the store and say, hey, you got Room 101, and that retailer should carry that product. Or if the retailer believes in you, they should put the stuff in the in the humidor and flat out say, hey, you really should try this, right?
no doubt.
So yeah, the broker is just a fragment of that composition, especially
Yeah.
this day and age.
But I view anyone that I work with as a partner. I don't say anyone works for me. I say I work with them.
Right.
And so I need that caliber of partnership,
Right.
whether it's a retailer, a sales agent,
So will you give the Kill Your
Guy
Broker
at the
shirts
rub and
to your brokers? Hey, this is
Put on the back. You can put on the back. Sell the dicks.
Hey, I got this for you. Some more dicks.
Kill the
sell
broker, sell the
these.
dick.
Why are you selling? Sell these.
These are the dicks that we need you to move.
Yeah, these ones.
God damn it. All right, you want to take a break?
Break one more time.
Yeah. All right. I gotta pee too. So I like how. So we were just briefly talking about. Are we recording?
Yeah, now we're back.
Okay, so we were just briefly talking about our morning routines and stuff. And one of the cool things about you being on the West Coast is you really have the opportunity to kind of get up a little earlier, hit East Coast, talk to anybody on the East Coast, and then as your day progresses, you then start addressing the West Coast. Right?
Absolutely.
But where, for me, I'm on the opposite side of the fucking world, I would say that I probably neglect the West Coast the most. Like, I don't have a sales force,
Right.
and I'm not looking to move a tremendous amount of product either.
Right.
I can operate within the confines that the factory produces for me and what I can afford to do.
Of course.
Right. So that's just a long way of me saying that I'm not fair to the West Coast people.
Are you ignoring us?
Not intentionally.
Oh my.
I love my boy Ken Wu. He's a good dude.
Ken Wu, shout out.
Yeah. Shout out
Very
to my
cool.
boy Ken Wu. And Lenny over at Owlear, he
Oh, yeah.
and Sam Lopez, Finash, like they're cool.
They're fellow weirdos.
Yeah, so
I respect them
so
very
you can,
much.
Yeah, I always call Lenny he's my kind of crazy. So
Yeah. No doubt.
so you can talk to them whenever.
Of course.
Doesn't matter what time of day it is,
Mm-hmm.
they'll be in touch with you. So like I'll text Ken or Lenny or fucking late at night for me, but it's still kind of early for them.
Right. No doubt.
So
I get that.
yeah. So kind of getting back to the conversation about brokers and
Cigar.
and reps and stuff.
Well, I mean,
but we won't
More? There's more?
No,
You
we
have
won't
more
beat the horse. We're
Okay.
going to convert over.
okay.
It's kind of funny to me. I feel like the guys, I agree with the format that like my friends and family over at Roma have done.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've ever heard of Danny Vasquez, but he's a great sales guy. Danny.
Danny.
Yeah.
Danielle? Danny.
No, not
There's a-
Danny.
Where is
He's
he?
he's
He's out of
in
he's out-
Texas.
he's in Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not placing that.
Oh.
Is he a good-looking fella?
Yeah, no, he's an
man?
attractive man. Yeah, he's doing the bald thing. He's kind of owning that.
Okay. Okay.
It's so weird. I always see him in like Room 101 garb and shit too. So you never heard of
That's
him?
interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe bought it online.
Danny.
Yeah, he must have purchased it or something. He's a big cigar cartel guy.
He likes cigars.
Yeah.
He's interested in
He's got
cigars.
his own
He-
podcast, I think.
Yeah, Salt and the
Salt and the
Smoke.
Smokes, that's
yeah,
right.
he's a good friend.
He has a podcast?
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
That fuck. I haven't been on your podcast. I'm doing all this shit out here. You have a podcast?
You held out for like 30 seconds.
Wait.
I mean, you caved.
No, man.
Instantly.
Hold on. Wait, he has a podcast?
Yeah. He does like this Salt and the Smoke. Well, so it's not
Him and
really
3
his.
other
Like
guys.
he's like the main guy on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but he's not there all the time.
Okay. Well, shit.
It's all call-ins, so you can just call in anywhere.
Okay. Okay.
Can they do more than 4 guys at one time?
I don't know.
All their guys
But I'm
call.
sure-
Danny Vasquez
Yeah.
is not only a savagely attractive man,
Yeah.
but he's like, I mean, quite frankly, I mean, look, and I'm not saying this in any other way other than matter of fact. I think he's one of the greatest investments those guys ever made into their company.
Yeah.
Genuinely, he's a rock star.
I think
Yeah.
I think he's all right. Yeah, He's all
Absolutely.
right in my book. But we were supposed to fucking keep this rub going for a little longer than 30 seconds.
Hold on. Wait, who is that? just do it, man. They don't fact check here.
Just own it.
Yeah.
Just own it. So, but like their design, I appreciate more.
Absolutely.
Going out every once in a while, kind of
Careful.
saturating the
Careful.
market. I'm praising them. This is me praising you,
We got
Danny.
in trouble a couple episodes ago for
Yeah.
Michael saying something.
They check in on accounts,
Yeah.
they make their phone calls, and that's hard work.
Yeah.
That is very hard work. It's not easy, especially sometimes getting the right person on the phone can sometimes be fucking atrociously impossible. But
I think it's tremendously admirable what they built as a company, man. And I think that model, I think, is somewhat against the grain. I mean, if you just get in line with the rest of the guppies and swim upstream, I mean, you're going to get the same results or worse, right? I think they took a stand for their business and structured what they do very intelligently.
Right.
But, and I don't, sit in their office perched erotically behind over Danny Vasquez's shoulder like a defecating gargoyle, pining for him to give me more attention at
At
any
least have
given
you on this
moment.
podcast.
yeah, he doesn't really like you.
Never-
He just likes the flower.
It's fucked up, man. He likes my little pictures. It's little. I see what's going on now.
Yeah.
I'm spurned. My love is spurned.
Yeah.
But from what I gather,
That was mainly why I wanted to just drive that wedge, separate you two.
I understood. I understood. Oh, you jelly?
He's jealous. He's
It's
a little
man
jealous.
love, bro. You can't douse this fire. Not even with pills. So my point is, or cream, or whatever, or George Clooney's fine.
Semen-based
elixir.
tequila.
You said that. I didn't. I just
You
said
hinted towards
I
it.
said elixir, which could have been anything. So, no, but and from what I gather from retailers as I travel is that they all echo the same sentiments, right? That they take care of them. They act in the spirit of partnership, and that's how I'm trying to drive my business.
Right.
Is more business with less people, with the right people, and people that respect and appreciate that offerings of partnership. Right.
Right.
So that's something to be commended.
Right.
That's
So, essentially, I think that's kind of the longer, harder way, but the right way.
Baka.
Baka.
Yeah. No, it is the longer and more difficult path, but you're putting down a foundation of concrete.
Right.
Right?
Instead of something that's
You're not built on stilts, man.
So you fucked with me. When I watched the Kiss My Ass radio and Danny was mentioned by Ronnie, you're like, "Ooh, I was like, fuck, there's no fucking way we're going to get him to do this." So,
I did it, but then you threw me off.
yeah, you
With
caved.
the podcast.
You caved really easy.
He got very upset.
You may fold under questioning.
I'm romantically invested, man, and to find that out, it's just very. I'm gonna cry myself to sleep in the Courtyard Marriott tonight. I mean, as I do most nights on the road, sucking my thumb. But this time, I'll be thinking about him.
So how long are you on the road for?
Probably till 2022, basically. No, I
You got to go home.
I try to balance, right?
Right.
I try to balance. I've done a bit too much, I think, this fall.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of ground to be covered here, man.
Yeah.
And I genuinely have to do it myself.
Yeah.
Because these guys, I need to show them the proper respect of a visit, have them hear my message directly, have them understand where I'm coming from.
Right.
Dispel whatever ninny boo-boo gossipy related shade that's being thrown by managers of other people's business
Right.
that say, don't buy his shit, buy my shit. That kind of
People
thing.
do that?
No, that's a no. I was
doesn't
just
happen.
making that up. That doesn't happen at all. But my point is like I need to see the people, man. I
Right.
need to have those conversations and and look, man, and let them know where I'm coming from, and if
Right.
that's appetizing to them, let's do this. And if not, if you want your 75% off and a goat, I mean, I might send the goat.
Yeah.
Let's say,
The discount's too much, though.
I just wanted to know. I mean, I'm fine with that.
I'll paint it like a zebra.
But I want the fucking fainting goat
Cool.
one that we
Those are
can,
the best one.
and then just
Scary
kind of
when it
tilts
falls
over.
down.
Like I need that.
I got you.
You know,
I got
and
you.
you can put like the flower on it, the room
Yeah.
101 design,
A
or something.
t-shirt or something.
I believe would a fainting goat be considered exotic, like an exotic pet versus a standard
Come
goat?
see our exotic animal.
Yeah, come see the exotic fainting goat. Yeah.
The room
At
101.
Cigar House, like-
Put it like a fucking
Chain.
yeah,
chain around
necklace
his
right
neck.
around him.
Oh.
That'd be nice.
With the big skull head.
You know what's kind of funny is like as I'm going through my Christmas shit, so I'm digging out all my Christmas stuff, and I guess through the period of time of having kids and shit, like my stuff has slowly my like personal not a big deal stuff. I have to say that because my wife listens. My personal not a big deal stuff has slowly made its way out into the garage. Right.
Okay, I got you.
Some of it is I don't know why I have it, and this is one of those things. But I opened it up. I opened up a box looking for Christmas shit, and I saw this old cigar. I think it was Cigar Press
Oh dear.
of like you, fucking Dion, Jay,
Yeah,
like the
man.
whole old school picture. So you guys are all friends, I guess, to some degree, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's obviously some closer than more than others.
Yeah, but I mean, look, that was a very interesting experience, and to be included in that was obviously an honor. And at the time, and still to this day, I'm the most junior character in that lineup, right? Really, really kind of blown away that they would include me in that at the time. But I understood, what Thor was driving at with
Right.
that feature. It was like, okay, these guys are providing a twist on tradition, whilst being very romantically involved and dedicated to what they're doing,
Right.
and coming with the authentic action.
Right.
So it was cool. It was very cool. I actually got a hair up my ass and decided we had been, Jay Drew had been threatening to redo this photo, and we got to do it. And then the conversation, we kind of have a chain text that
Right.
every once in a while we'll reactivate, and then it'll go
There'll be
dormant
like a
again.
yo.
Yeah, there'll be a yo.
Hey, what's up, man? Got this horrible rash, and then there's no
Yeah.
answer. And
Does
then,
this look infected?
Right.
And and then it's it's gone.
have you had a cream for this?
Yeah. So, I just said, fuck it, man, we got to do this. We're going to be at the trade show. That photograph, that sit down with those guys for that magazine literally took over a year to
Get everybody
coordinate.
together.
Yeah. And Jay Huber literally came from the airport in a cab, took some snaps, and was back in a car. Like, had to go home.
No
so,
shit.
Yeah. So it was like that tight. So, I knew like the only way we're going to accomplish this is at our trade show. This
Right.
is the only place
Makes
on earth
sense.
we're going to be at the same time.
Right.
So we all gathered at my booth about an hour before the floor opened on the first day, and
Right.
we reshot that photo. So the threat that has been tabled here is that there might be a "Where Are They Now" feature.
Ooh.
Which would really be dope because it's not only okay what's happened with these guys in their path in the business, but what's happened with the fucking business in that time.
Right.
I mean, I genuinely feel like that shit was yesterday, and
Yeah.
you talk to people about that magazine, they're like, "Oh man, that was so long ago."
Yeah, me too. Like when I saw that picture, I was like, these guys all look old now. I mean,
Yeah.
they don't look like this anymore.
Yeah, man,
It's crazy.
it ain't easy out here,
I mean,
man.
you're,
It'll put some
You're young, you had your glasses and shit, and
cigar years are like dog years. They
No, I
add up
believe
very
it.
quickly.
yeah, no, it's brutal. You want to really fucking brutalize yourself. Get involved in both sides, retail and wholesale. It's
Oh, dear
really
God.
it's really entertaining.
No, man. No, man.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. I'll pass. I'm gonna live vicariously through you.
All right, so I got some light shit to talk about now that we got all that out of
Okay.
the way. Do you have cigar news or anything you want to talk about or no?
No, we just got a couple of show updates. That's it.
Okay. Well, I mean, we didn't announce the thing last time. We have to.
No,
announce-
yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it at the end of this one.
Okay.
right.
Okay. This is some
Be
of my
formal.
life experiences as of right now, which have been fucking extremely entertaining because it's the holiday season.
Okay.
So, have you ever ordered on like the mobile app from Starbucks?
I have not.
Okay,
I'm
so-
somewhat
Where you order it
inept
and then
with technology.
Drive up and
Yeah. So
suppose
like
it's
you,
ready.
you punch in your order, you walk in, it's done.
Right.
It's easy peasy.
Already paid for and everything.
It's amazing. Right?
Okay.
Especially if you're on the road. Like
Okay.
you need to fucking pick me up, get an espresso.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
Rosales and I are huge fans of that. So if we're together,
Okay.
like, hey, let's go get this. So Dunkin' Donuts is now doing this shit.
Okay.
So to kind of, I'm like, oh, I've done this before with the with Starbucks, this should
Right.
be easy. So, order some breakfast sandwiches and shit because we're doing some stuff with the kids or whatever. I walk into this fucking place and it is chaos.
I was gonna say they're not as well run as
Yeah.
a Starbucks.
It is fucking chaos. So I walk in, I go to my order, and my drinks are there. No donuts for the kids, no munchkins. I'm like, hey, so my order's here, but there's a receipt. So that means that somebody fucking took.
No, and it says
Somebody-
Munchkin
right, someone took my
double
mon-
glaze.
So yeah, I mean, it played out either one of two ways. Number one is somebody ganked it,
Right.
which I think, looking around, very possible.
Treacherous.
Or the guy totally, they just totally botched it.
Right.
So I'm like, hey, my munchkins and my donuts aren't here. And she goes, oh, okay, let me get that for you. She comes back.
She's got an attitude.
Oh, yeah, she's pissed.
Very cranky.
She comes back. She hands me the donuts. She goes, have a nice day. And I'm like, what about the munchkins? She got so pissed.
What, you want
What are
everything?
Munchkins? What are Munchkins?
They're like
Those
little
little donut
they're like-
holes.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's like they've really maximized the market. Like,
course.
hey, what can we do with the little circle inside?
yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
So like the kids love them,
Of course.
So she gets super fucking irate.
Oh dear.
So that was pretty entertaining. I don't recommend using the mobile app for
no, don't
Dunkin'
they usually
Donuts.
share space with like Baskin Robbins or
They
something
do.
out there?
They do.
You're lucky you didn't get ice cream instead.
Here's your milk.
Here's your coffee and your 2 scoops of vanilla you asked for a sec.
So Thunderdome, yeah, that was entertaining. I gave my Bucks tickets away.
Oh, that's right. How'd that go?
So my wife is obviously really pregnant. I have season tickets to Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Okay.
So I became a Buccaneers fan because I have kids, right? And I want to take them to a football game that's close. So got season tickets, and sometimes I sell them, and like 2 of these tickets I couldn't sell. So
Right.
so I posted on Facebook, hey, I can't go to the game. Does anybody want to go? And all of a sudden I get like this friend request from this kid. This is a young guy. His name's Joel. I'll leave
Okay.
it at that. And he's like, hey, I really want to go. I had to become your friend to send the comment section. I'm a diehard Bucks fan. I look at his page and he's got all types of Bucks shit. I'm like, yeah, sure, man. I'll send you the tickets. So he fucking went. He had
Heard
a,
back from him or anything?
yeah, no. I think that
Were there
after he
pictures
won,
on his Facebook of
his brother or cousin or somebody he was with did a tag and then he was removed from the tag. Like, I feel like, I don't know, it's kind of weird for him.
maybe he sold them.
No, he didn't sell
Oh,
them.
he went. Okay.
He definitely went to the game.
But something's awry.
I feel like, I don't know, like if he thought there was going to be like a string attached to it or some shit. Like
Oh, like
some-
now this guy wants something.
Right, like somebody just gave me $500 worth of tickets.
Like send pictures of your feet.
Right. Right. I'm going to need a FaceTime, or something like that.
Yeah.
From the men's bathroom during the game.
Matt Booth will be there. Don't worry.
So, yeah. So, hey, I guess it went well.
Did
So
they
that was
win?
pretty cool. They did win the game.
Oh, well, good for him then. Maybe he really
Big
enjoyed it.
W.
Okay.
So, I don't know. The playoffs are going to happen, but so that happened.
Sports.
Sports. Now, we just covered the sports segment. Fucking Costco.
A value.
I love Costco. I'm a huge fan.
I like.
But again, Christmas season,
Oh yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
fucking Thunderdome. So 2 things happened last weekend that I went. Number 1 is we're getting into Costco. Guy gets his shit out of his cart, whatever, puts it in his car, takes the cart and parks it right behind the car next to him. Like a real
Oh, he just
fuck
left it.
you to the person next to you.
Ah.
So I feel like I'm boring you, Matt.
No, man, I'm listening. I'm listening. I've just been running my gullet for this entire time.
But it's been great.
Yeah, it's been
great.
delightful.
I mean, Paul was
have I been
trying.
too honest though? Like
No, that's what the show's
Oh, no,
about.
not at all. We do, like he says, Patreon, he talked about earlier, where we're even more honest.
We're more
Understood.
We're more opinionated and we're more direct about who we're talking about.
understood.
So,
Understood.
this is we can have our opinions and still be a little elusive. So,
Understood.
I think you did that.
Yeah.
I'd like to have seen your wife at, where'd she get this World of Wine or whatever it
Yeah,
was?
probably Total Wine or some shit.
9-month pregnant woman goes in and buys 4 or 5 little
four
bottles
little Casamigos.
I need
of tequila. Labor's starting soon.
Usually she gets the
big.
big bottle. So, like the
Little bottles just seem,
1.75 liter.
just seem funnier. Like
I got to squeeze these in.
squeeze these in when they're
Before
not
the baby
looking.
comes.
Heidi's at the hospital.
Right. So we're in Costco and we're about to cash out. And, like when you walk into Costco, they have like these stacks of random shit that you can buy, right?
Right.
Like impulse
Impulse items,
Right.
yeah.
So they have like this hair dryer set, like there's this T3 feather set, and
Oh.
there's this plastic display that shows the hair dryer, shows like a brush and something else. So you get all this shit, right?
Right.
And there's tons of them. So we're cashing out. The guy has the plastic display of the fucking blow dryer and the
in his
brush
cart.
in his cart.
Nice.
Going to buy.
He likes the way it's displayed.
So he wants to present it at his home.
Right.
check out
Yeah.
my fine array of drying goods for my hair. So
From Santa. It's already assembled and ready to go.
yeah, check this out. It probably doesn't have plugs.
Oh, it's
so,
probably dead stuff. That's right.
So the cashier at Costco was super pissed. You can't buy that. Like, he's a complete fucking idiot.
Damn.
So that was
It's harsh.
That was pretty epic, man.
Customer's always right.
Right?
Maybe. Actually, not anymore, right?
I don't think.
No, not
I don't
anymore.
Think, yeah.
Well, this is an interesting thing that's come to be with the whole nature of e-com, right? Like back in the day, the customer was always right,
Right.
and people would scramble to appease their customers. And now people are getting shout outs for shutting down dickheads, right? Mm-hmm. Like a company will just basically get super sassy and intelligently tell someone to go fuck themselves,
Right.
and that gets them press,
Right.
which I like.
Which is nice. Yeah.
And if you deserve
If
it,
calling
you're gonna
somebody
get
out for
served
being
it.
an asshole.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you know what I have noticed as the economy kind of booms, and then when it fizzled, like so, we buy a lot of shit from Sam's for here. Their rules change.
Okay.
So like, if as the economy goes up, it's like they're like fucking Gestapo, man. It's insane.
Right.
So half the time I can bring my fucking cart thing that it's like low or whatever. You know what I mean? Like you have two cart options.
flatbed.
Yeah, you can take a flatbed. You can load it up, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And you should have no problems at self checkout.
Right.
Now you can't do that. Like, oh
Okay.
no, you can't do that now. But and I've had experiences with that shit in the past with Sam's. Like all of a sudden their rules go crazy. But then when the market tanked, it was like fucking you could do whatever you wanted.
Free for all.
Yeah, it's like, hey, no, yeah, come on in. Is that not your card? No problem. Hey, you need $20? Let me ring that up. Like, I mean, now,
Gotcha.
so it's kind of remarkable to see how like the economy dictates how they treat their consumers.
Right. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's fucking crazy. That's pretty much all I got for today.
Understood.
So I hit those three
When
things.
you travel with him, it seems like a military operation. Everything's got to be on the cart just right way.
Yeah.
UPC's got to be on the outside edge of everything.
I'm not fucking around.
There's no waste of time. He has it mapped out. Okay, we're going here.
You want
we're
to
going
acquire
here, we're going
merchandise.
here.
Right.
In and out as fast as
Yeah.
possible.
Look, I have X amount of time of the day, and
Right.
and I'm not here to fuck around. I
Right.
want to get my shit. I want to be the fastest person in self checkout to a
Right.
point where people are like,
You go to stop at the cart. He goes, no,
Did he
don't
pay
stop.
for everything?
Don't stop. Just slow down. I'll hit it as you go by.
Yeah, I've actually had somebody stop, like one of the Sam's people, probably a couple of years ago. They're like, that was the fastest I've ever seen somebody go
Yo,
through self-checkout.
thank you. Oh my God, I would feel.
I was like, yeah,
Not my
I feel
first
so
time
pleased with
here.
myself.
yeah, I wanted a sticker or something. But I was like,
Thank you,
that's
thank you,
it.
thank you
Hello,
very
it's number
much.
number
Yeah.
one shopper on your.
I'm a
your
Sam's
shirt.
professional.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, go
All right.
ahead, go
All right,
ahead.
a little bit of a show update. Okay, I would like to welcome Egypt to the podcast family.
So Mr. Palmer here is on a track of world domination for the podcast.
Episode 101.
Episode 101.
We have listeners
Egypt.
in almost every major country, but some small inner African countries.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like a dude's nick, like a
Oh,
street name. No, you're talking about the
country.
nation.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
yes.
Oh,
we
shit.
have a listener
Shout
in
out.
Egypt now. Yes.
The Fertile Crescent. Welcome.
Welcome to the podcast.
And, we
This
mentioned
is
this
2
on-
hours of your life you'll never get
Never
back.
get
You're
back.
welcome.
We mentioned this on social media today, but we are the #1 cigar show on Podbean now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's
Solid.
That's a big W.
Accolades.
We have 3,245 subscribers now.
That's nice.
I would like to nominate you for the top podcast on, what was it called? On
Podbean?
that thing?
Podbean.
On Podbean?
Podbean.
Yeah.
Bean?
Podbean, yes. It's a podcast provider.
Like
So-
Diddle the Bean? Like Bean?
like Diddle the
Yes.
Bean.
Podbean.
So
BEAN.
Podbean
I am
is
now
like
nominating
is
you.
like the main hub, and then they
nominated.
distribute
You
it
upload to Podbean
to
and
everybody
they
else.
distribute it
Okay.
for you.
Okay.
So yeah, it's kind
Cool.
of yeah,
Yeah,
it's kind of a
dope,
big
man.
deal. And Coop actually tried to fact check us on that. He's like, I don't understand. How does that make
Because
sense?
we passed Cigar Authority. They had #1 for years.
Okay.
And
Okay.
we just passed them
and we've been hell bent on beating them.
Understood.
for the last year now.
So we've
Understood.
officially beat them.
Oh, dear.
And so Coop's like, well, I don't understand. How are you #1? I'm like, well, we have more subscribers. They have more views because they've been doing it longer.
Right,
than us.
right.
we have more shows out.
Right.
I fucking love Coop, man.
And then he came back and went,
Yeah.
hey, I'm #4.
Yeah.
And he would have the facts straight. Like,
yeah.
Yes.
supercomputer.
Yeah, he needed.
Once he
needed
understood
verification.
the statistics, he fully agreed. On Player FM now, we are the #2 cigar-related show.
Yeah.
We just passed Cigar Authority on there also.
Awesome.
So, Cigar
See,
Dave
look,
is
we're crushing it. We don't even talk
Coming
about
up.
fucking cigars.
Coming up.
Cigar Dave is #1 still on Player FM.
Okay. Okay.
And then we have a listener of the week, and that's all I got.
All right.
Okay, listener of the week is Greg Reed.
Great.
He is,
What's up, Greg?
Grego
What's
0417 on Instagram.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got to get the gong.
Oh, look.
There you go.
See,
Listener of the week gets the gong every week.
I like
very,
that.
it's very
He's
exciting.
also our newest patron.
Can I ring that?
Also.
Yeah.
I'll ring that at the end, though. I want to ring it at the end.
Oh, well, let's bring it over in front of you.
Here you go.
Okay, thank
We were
you.
trying to
Thank
get this to be the number one cigar accessory for the year, but nobody.
It wasn't nominated.
It wasn't nominated.
you. Well, I could nominate you. I'm nominating you.
Right.
We're
This is-
up for the number one show and cigar scored, though.
Like if you win the tobacco awards, I think that it's only appropriate if you thank us first.
Of course.
Well,
Like,
That'd be
I
very
just want
nice.
to thank the Cigar Hustlers
Of course.
podcast.
I'd like
if it
to
wasn't for
thank
them,
Cigar Hustler.
Yeah, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be who I am today.
I'd like to thank Egypt
and Egypt.
showing up.
And the one listener in Egypt. Oh.
And Greg 7539. What was it? What was it?
Grego 0417.
Shout out, Greg. Welcome to the fam.
So yeah,
So that's it. That's all I got.
that's all we have. So how was that? What do you think? Did you survive?
We have
I'm delighted.
Yeah.
I'm just delighted to be here, man.
two
Yeah.
full
Yeah.
episodes.
2 complete episodes.
Ooh.
Thank you, Matt. We appreciate you being our.
Yeah, Matt, you're all right in my book, man.
Thanks,
You know?
man.
Yeah, he's a nice
Thanks.
guy.
I appreciate the platform to just vomit and spew authenticity
We got the
or
good
honesty, rather.
Yeah, we got the good stuff.
Yeah. No, it was cool, man. I very much enjoyed it, man. It was super cool. And I know you could do this with whomever, so thank you for having me.
Yeah, and we decided to let you on. That's fine.
Well, I know.
It was a
20,
hard
I know.
call.
I appreciate it. I appreciate all the same.
It was you or Caldwell, and
We've already had.
Yeah,
Colo on,
he's
so-
out of town. I get it.
Yeah,
it's
he's
always
not here right
It was
now.
the second best. I get it.
yeah.
I'm used to it. I'm used to it. But thank you.
All right, that's it.
All right, hit the gong, Matt. There we go. And that's it. We're out.
See you later.
Thanks, everybody.
There you go.